Okay, good afternoon once again. We are now on the Unit 2 of Financial Management. And our Unit 2 talks about financial statement analysis. Okay? What is our learning goals in this subject? Okay, our learning goals in this subject is to review the contents of the stockholders report and procedures for consolidating international financial statement or the financial statement prepared by a preparer of a financial statement, which is the accountant. Okay, so we will review the content, no, and we will also understand who uses financial ratios and how it is being used. That is our goal in this chapter. Another is we are going to use ratios to analyze the firm's liquidity and activity. Okay? Later, okay, or as we go on, we will now understand what is liquidity in business. Because in other field of profession, liquidity is something to do with water. Here, it is different, no? And we will also discuss as to the activity of the entity using the ratios that we have, okay? So that would be our learning goals here. Another learning goal that we will discuss, the relationship between debt, the liability, and financial leverage, okay? We will discuss what financial leverage is and the ratios used to analyze a firm's debt. No, we will discuss, okay, ratio, okay, on analyzing the debt, the liability, okay, of the company, okay. And we will also use ratios to analyze the firm's profitability, okay, how they earn profit, or their profit is strong ba or hindi. And then as its market value, meaning as to its market value, the shares, are the shares marketable, are the shares can be sold higher than its regular price, ganon, no? Number 6, we will use a summary of financial ratios. Ayon. And the DuPont system of analysis. Okay, we will discuss the DuPont system of analysis to perform a complete ratio analysis. Okay, so anim po yung target po nating malaman dito. Particularly kayo, dapat niyong malaman yan kasi ito pong anim na to, lalabas talaga siya sa actual board exam. Okay, so what is a stockholders report? The stockholders report is the guidelines used to prepare and maintain financial records, and reports are known as generally accepted accounting principle. Take note, guys, that the guidelines or the standards or rules in order to prepare a statement of set of financial statement is the generally accepted accounting principle. Okay? It is necessary that the prepared financial statement is in accordance with the generally accepted accounting principle. GAAP is authorized by the Financial Accounting Standards Board. Okay? GAAP, no? Okay, is the authorized by the Financial Accounting Standards Board. Here, the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002 is not applicable naman in the Philippine setting. Okay, so we are not going to discuss that. Okay, same with this PACAOB, no? Okay, but we need to understand that in the Philippines there are public corporations, no? There are public corporations, and these public corporations are publicly listed in the Philippine setting. Okay, are publicly listed in the Security Exchange Commission, that is SEC, no? Take note, we have SEC, no? Philippine Security Exchange Commission, wherein the SEC also requires, okay, the submission of audited financial statement to the said agency, no? Okay, as preparers, as accountants, we submit audited financial statement to the Philippine Security Exchange Commission, particularly those publicly listed corporations. Okay? The 4 key financial statement. Number 1, we have the income statement or the statement of comprehensive income. Okay, just a recall, no, on the different financial statement. The income statement provides a financial summary of company's operating results during a specified period. Remember, the statement of comprehensive income provides us the performance on how the company performed on a specified period. Also, okay, this this report is prepared either annually or in any other period, okay, that is pwede semi-annually, pwede quarterly, but in the most common cases, it is prepared annually for reporting purposes. They are generally computed monthly by management and quarterly for tax purposes. For reporting purposes, we prepare it annually. But for the management to assess the performance of the company, they require it in a monthly basis. But for the purpose of taxation, because we are required to pay income tax liability in a quarterly basis, we prepare financial statement in a quarterly basis. Okay. This is the income statement, no? This is a comparative financial statement. Okay? Take note, this is a comparative financial statement because it compares 2005 to 2006. Okay? That is a comparative financial statement. And usually, an income statement provides, okay, what total income earned, okay, what would be the net profits before taxes, what are the taxes, okay, what were the depreciation, okay, what are the general and administrative expenses, okay. So that is an income statement. Okay. Okay. So yon. Let's proceed to the next slide. We have as well the balance sheet. Now, what is a balance sheet? The balance sheet presents a summary of firm's financial position at a given point in time, meaning the balance sheet is also known as the statement of financial position, provide us information as to the financial status of the company, the financial status or financial position of the company. Sometimes we consider that the statement of financial position provides the financial capability of the company. Okay, in the balance sheet, assets indicates what the firms own. Take note, no? Asset indicates what the firm owns. Okay, that not only owns but as well controlled, kasi that is the definition of an asset. And equity represents the owner's investment, okay? What was actually provided by the owners, that is the equity, while liabilities indicates of what the firms owed, inutang or borrowed. Okay? So yon. And those elements are being presented in this statement of financial position. Okay? This is an example of a balance sheet in a comparative manner. This is a comparative balance sheet. Okay, this is the total assets, and while this is the total liabilities and equity. No, that's how we present the statement of financial position in a comparative manner. Okay, the statement of retained earnings, no, okay, here in the Philippines we don't really have this, but what we have is the statement of changes in equity. Okay, but the statement of retained earnings, guys, for academic purposes is the reconciliation of net income earned and dividends paid during the year, while with the change in retained earnings. The statement of retained earnings just show, no, okay, how the change in the retained earnings, okay, what are the causes on the retained earnings, okay, what are the basis of the change in retained earnings, meaning paano lumaki, paano bumaba ang retained earnings natin, okay, was it based on the net income or net loss incurred, okay, by the entity, and does any dividend payments made during the year. That's why our retained earnings declines. Okay, the statement of retained earnings provided that information. Okay, This is an example of a retained earnings. Take note. There, take a look. No, there is a beginning balance. They added a net profit earned during the year, and then they deducted what were the dividends provided to shareholders, and then it will provide the ending balance of the retained earnings. Meaning, in this case, it just provided the causes how the retained earnings from being 1,012 naging 1,135 because of the itong nasa gitna na to, because of the 231 net profits and the payment of dividends. We just reconcile the causes, okay, or what would be the we just determine the cause why the retained earnings increases or decreases. Another is that the statement of cash flow. These are the key financial statement here in financial statement of analysis. We have the statement of cash flow, which provides a summary of cash flows over the period of concern. Okay, over a particular period. The statement of cash flow provide us information on how the cash are being utilized, as to what activity it was utilized, okay, in a particular period. This statement not only provide insights into a company's investment, financing, and operating activities. Speaking of this activity, the statement of cash flow is divided into different parts. Okay, cash flow related to investment, cash flow related to financing, and cash flow from operating. That's why the second bullet is saying that it will just not provide any insights related to the investment, to the financing, and operating activities. But also, it ties together the relationship of the statement of cash flow to the income statement or the statement of financial of other comprehensive income or statement of comprehensive income, and to the statement of financial position. Kasi yung iba sinasabi nila that the statement of cash flow just provide information as to how much did the company utilize on the investment activities, as well as it will provide it will also provide um, um, information in relation to the financing activities. So how much cash did we utilize on financing activities, or how much cash did we utilize on operating activities? Anyway, we will discuss when we say this is an investment, this is a financing, this is an operating activity. Pero yung target lang po natin dito on this particular slide is to tell you that the statement of cash flow does not focus only on giving information on those activity, but it will also provide information related to the statement of comprehensive income and statement of financial position. Okay, look, this is an example of a statement of cash flow. It has operating activities, kaya nga sinabi ko, it is divided in three parts. We have the cash flow from operating, cash flow from investment, and cash flow from financing. Okay, that is an example. Okay, consolidating international financial statement. Okay, we are not going to discuss this because we are not naman in the US setting. We are in the Philippine setting. Okay, so yon, ito, importante naman to. We have the equity accounts and the retained earnings. Okay? But, for the purpose of discussion, okay, for the purpose na mas mabilis tayo, we are not going to discuss this part because this is just related to the consolidating international financial statements. Okay? We are not going to tackle on that. Okay? Okay. Using financial ratios. Ayun, What is a ratio analysis? Okay? It involves methods of calculating and interpreting. Take note, we just not only calculate ratios, but we also interpret the ratio. For the purpose to assess, for the purpose of interpreting is to assess the firm's financial condition and performance. Okay? So meaning, as financial managers, we just not calculate ratios. We also, interpret the ratio. Okay? We also interpret the ratio. A calculation of ratio is worthless without any interpretation that we will provide. That's why nga, this is financial statement analysis because we analyze. Remember, once we analyze, we communicate our analysis. And then, for us to communicate it, we need to interpret it. Okay? In a way that the users of financial ratios can able to understand it. Okay? Ayun. So, in ratio analysis or in financial statement analysis, we just not simply calculate, but we also interpret. Okay? It is of interest to shareholders, creditors, and the firm's own management. The financial statement analysis that we have, okay, yung may interest dyan or yung mga interesado dyan, usually are the users, and the users, common users that requires, an analysis on the financial statement are the shareholders, the creditors, yung mga nagpapautang, and the own management, the board of directors. Okay, the management itself really wanted, to have a financial analysis in order for them to understand the financial condition and performance of the entity. Okay. Using financial ratios. Number one, we have what we call the trend or time series analysis. That is the first analysis that we have. The trend or time series analysis is used to evaluate a firm's performance over time. So you are going to have a time series analysis in order for you to understand the performance of a particular firm in a particular time. For example, you want to check how from 2021, from 2016 until today, 2021, paano yung performance natin? Pataas po ba? Pababa? Akyat baba? Akyat baba? That is the purpose of the time series analysis or trend analysis. Okay? We have another, the cross-sectional analysis, wherein the cross-sectional analysis is used to compare different firms at the same point in time. In the cross-sectional analysis, guys, ibig sabihin po nun, we compare our firm to another firm, provided that we are in a similar industry, ha? You cannot compare your firm. For example, you are a real estate industry, and then you are comparing it to a transportation company. It is wala yang saysay. Okay? The cross-sectional analysis, even if it is saying it is used to compare different firms in a sense that your firm must be you compared to a firm that is similar to your to the industry that you are a member, no? For example, kung transportation industry ka, transportation company ka, you are mga bus line. If you are Piltrangco, you want to check your competitiveness to others. Okay, obviously, Piltrangco against the LTB ko, or Cebu Pacific against Philippine Airlines. Mahirap naman Cebu Pacific to Kuwan, ABS-CBN. That is two different firm nga, but different industry. Remember, we cannot compare that. Okay? At the same, but take note as well, once we compare to other firm, you need to make sure that the financial statement analysis you have, if that is 2021, i-compare mo Philippine Airlines sa'yo, no? I-compare mo sa Cebu Pacific, dapat, once you compare, dapat i-compare mo rin sa 2021 na financial statement analysis ng Cebu Pacific. Okay? Because it is so ironic naman na i-compare mo yan. Okay? To other firm which is not similar to your industry. If na-compare mo naman sa parehong industry, pero hindi mo naman na-compare sa parehong panahon. O, di ba? Parang walang saysay 'yon. That is cross-sectional analysis. Okay. Industry comparative analysis, yun po sinasabi ko kanina. Okay? There is benchmarking, a type of cross-sectional analysis in which the firm's ratio values are compared to those of key competitor or group of competitors that it wishes to emulate. Okay. Kanina, yung una kong sinasabi na cross-sectional is that kino-compare mo yung sarili mo sa iba. Yung benchmarking naman is that you idolize a particular firm in the similar industry. For example, because you are a new entrant of this industry. Okay, for example, bago ka, tawag natin doon is Nicholas Airlines. Oh, Nicholas Airlines, bagong eroplano, no? Bago ka sa ganong industry. Because you want to be competitive soon, you benchmark, you idolize. So, titingnan mo yung financial statement analysis ng isang malaking kumpanya on the airline industry. For example, Cebu Pacific. Okay. So, ibe-benchmark mo sarili mo sa Cebu Pacific. Parang yung yung nandun sa financial statement analysis of the Cebu Pacific, you are trying to idolize it and or you are trying to obtain it in order for you to be a key competitor later on. Okay? Kaya nga to emulate, that it wishes to emulate, to copy, to imitate. Okay? Yun po yun. Okay? We have what we call naman combined analysis, wherein simply uses a combination of both time series and a cross-sectional. You prepare a time series analysis, and then at the same time, you make a cross-sectional analysis. Okay? Ito, take a look. Okay? Type of ratio comparison. Okay? For example, you compare the different department stores. Okay? This is your departments. These are line of business, department store, electronic, grocery, motor vehicle, different industry yan. Kino-compare nila mga ratio nila sa isa't isa. Okay? Naiintindihan? Okay. That is how we do that, no? Industry average. Combined analysis, for example, the industry, you make a graph, yung industry, ganito yung graph, but my company is keep on increasing. So, ibig sabihin, I am at par, no? In the industry. Mas mataas ako kung ano ang average sa industry. Okay? That's how we do that, no? Okay. Cautions for doing ratio analysis. Okay. Take note, these are reminders on doing ratio analysis. Ratios must be considered together. A single ratio by itself means relatively little. Ano ibig sabihin no? If we are going to analyze, no? If we are going to analyze the ratio, we just not analyze the ratio by its own. We analyze the ratio in relation to other ratios. Take note, analyzing a particular FS in a single ratio computed will not provide us the clear picture of what happened to the business entity. So it is necessary that once we analyze the entity using the financial statement analysis, we just not consider one ratio, but we as well consider different ratios and interrelate them to each other so that we can able to understand or we can have a clear picture of what really happened to the entity. Okay? Yun po yun. Na second caution is that financial statement that are being compared should be dated at the same point in time. Ito po sinasabi ko kanina, thus once you compare your financial statement to other entity, dapat pag 2021 yan, okay, dapat 2021 din sa isa, no? Dapat pareho. Okay? Another is use audited financial statement when possible. Okay? It is much reliable if we prepare our financial statement analysis on the basis of audited financial statement. Another is that the financial data the financial data being compared should have been developed in the same way. Ibig sabihin po nun, the financial statement that we have, once we compare it to other industry or to similar firm, okay, if we use GAAP as the guiding principle, make sure that the other entity as well is using GAAP. You cannot compare one thing to another that is not consistent at all. Okay? Yun po ibig sabihin nun. Make sure once you have the financial data that you are going to compare to other, it is necessary that this data, okay, the guiding principle, the standards, the policy used on this data is similar to the data used, to the guidelines, principle, and standard used to the other data where we are going to compare it. Okay? Be wary of inflation distortions. Okay? Ayun, that is more on economics. Okay, we will illustrate the use of financial ratios for analyzing financial statement using the Bartlett Company income statement and balance sheet presented earlier in 2.1, 2.2. Okay, let's begin with the ratio analysis. Okay, the ratio analysis, una, on the list, we have the current ratio. Okay, this is how we compute the current ratio, the total assets over the total current liabilities. Okay, the total current assets is divided to the total current liabilities. Very simple. No? Ito unang mamememorya mo, no? Na ratio. Okay, mas what is the current ratio? Alam mo agad. Total current asset over total current liabilities lang yan. O, na-compute mo na. Ano po ba significance ng current ratio? This is a liquidity ratio, guys. Sir, kanina sinasabi mo, what is about liquidity? What is something to do with liquidity? Pag sinabi pong liquidity in business, it is the capability of the entity to pay its liability. Okay? The capability of the entity to pay its liability. Anong type of liability? Short-term liabilities. Take note, ha? Pag sinabi pong liquidity, it is the ability of the company to pay its liabilities, particularly those short-term liabilities. Okay? So this is how we compute current ratio, one of the liquidity ratios that we have, basic liquidity ratio. Okay? So ibig sabihin po nito ng 1.97, okay? Ibig sabihin po ng 1.97, let us interpret this in a way na mas maiintindihan po natin. If yung total current asset natin is 1,233 and the total current liability is 620,000, the current ratio is 1.97. Ano po ba ibig sabihin ng 1.97? The 1.97 just simply provide us an information that kung babayaran po natin ang bawat isang utang na meron tayo sa current liability, kaya po natin yan bayaran kahit doblehin pa. Yun po ibig sabihin nun. Bakit kaya bayaran kahit doblehin pa niyang singilin? Kasi, take note, in every liability that you have, you can pay 1.97. Okay? Sa bawat isang pisong utang, ang kaya mong pwedeng ibayad is 1.97 pesos. Yun po ibig sabihin nun. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, pwede mong sabihin sa mga creditors mo on short-term liabilities, sige, maningil ka ngayon, kaya ko itang bayarin kahit doblehin mo pa. Because, my capability to pay is at 1.97 on the basis of the total current liabilities. Yun po ibig sabihin nun. Okay? Yun po ibig sabihin nun. Okay? Nagigets yung current ratio? Ano ang kayang ibigay na information ng current ratio? But guys, no? The current ratio is not a good sign pa rin. It's not a good sign pa rin. Because the current ratio is computed on the basis of a total current asset. Take note, hindi naman lahat ng total current asset are cash. Tama ba? Tama ba ako, guys? Di naman lahat ng current asset are cash. So we cannot easily conclude that the 1.97 that we have, the capability of paying the liability, Okay, at 1.97, ibig sabihin, in every liability, we are able to pay at 1.97, mababayaran talaga natin, di ba? That is the prima facie. Ibig sabihin, that is the primary information that we can obtain, that in every 1 peso, we can pay at 1.97. But in fact, hindi po yun. Kasi kung hihimayin po natin yung current asset na meron tayo, hindi naman po lahat ng current asset na meron tayo are cash. Baka po, mataas lang ang current asset natin kasi marami tayong inventory. Oh, di ba? Sasabihin, ay, mataas ang current ratio. So, kaya niyang bayaran kahit doblehin pa. Pero nang himayin, hindi pala. Kasi, naging mataas ang current asset kasi marami siyang inventory na hindi nabebenta. Okay? So, posibleng hindi pa rin, okay? Hindi pa rin maganda. Kahit 1.97 yan, hindi pa rin maganda. Okay? Pero, in a general rule, ha, if the current ratio is more than 1, that is a good sign already. If it is less than 1, okay, si creditor sasabihin niya, hindi ako magpapautang kasi less than 1 ang current ratio mo. Ito pa nga lang ngayon, baka hindi ka makabayad, no? Magpautang ako sa iyo. So, sa bawat isang piso na ipapautang ko sa iyo, babayaran mo lang 80 sentimo, assuming. Di ako magpapautang. Pero ito, na 1.97, kung hindi marunong magbasa ng ratio, sasabihin, sige, magpautang ako, kaya mo naman bayaran pala, kahit doblehin pa. Pero, kung titignan ko yan, hihimayin ko yan, posibleng hindi maganda pa rin yung 1.97. Dahil, baka, yung 1,233 na current asset is not more on cash, more on non-cash. Sino kayang mga nagpautang natatanggap ng inventory? Sasabihin mo, kuwan, ginutangan, bayaran na lang kita ng inventory. O, ikaw, inventory ibabayad sa'yo, di ba? Baka mataas lang ang current asset dahil nga sa inventory or dahil sa receivable. Hindi naman pala yun cash. Okay? So, kung ganun sir, ano pa ang mas magandang ratio to determine our liquidity? There is what we call the quick ratio. Ngayon, the quick ratio. How are we compute the quick ratio? That is the total current assets minus inventory. In other books, the quick ratio is computed in this manner. This is the most accurate way of computing the quick ratio. Kasi pag sinabi lang po natin total current asset minus inventory, baka may prepaid expenses dyan. Pero the quick assets are only cash, marketable securities, and marketable securities, and receivables. Yun lang po ang numerator natin. That is the accurate quick assets. So I would like to change this na. Okay, sana ito, the total current assets minus inventory. Pero the most appropriate way to compute the quick ratio is dividing the totality of cash, marketable securities, and receivables over the total current liabilities. Okay, that's the correct way. But using this formula, okay, let us focus on this, no? Okay, the quick ratio daw is 1.51. Binawas na po niya yung inventory niya. So, assuming yung natira, cash, marketable securities, at AR na lang. Over 620 na total current liabilities, yung liquidity ratio under quick ratio is 1.51 pa rin. Is that a good sign? Yes, it is a good sign. Dahil, okay, yung ginamit mo na quick ratio, kasi tinawag nga siyang quick ratio kasi mas madali siya ma-convert into cash, okay, pwede na, trusted ka na, sasabihin na ng creditor, iyan, 1.51. Yung ginamit mo, quick assets, yung madaling maging cash. So, ibig sabihin, kaya mo talagang bayaran ng utang mo, kahit doblehin mo pa. Okay? Kasi 1.51 nga, yung quick ratio mo. Your capability to pay your short-term liability under quick ratio is at 1.51. No? Nagegets? What is current ratio and quick ratio is? Guys, naiintindihan po ba? Pwede po natin sabihin na ganon, that the current ratio parang general mo na lang, no? Parang pangmadalian na computation, 'di ba? Parang sige, compute ko nga ngayon. O, 'yon. This is the current ratio. Pero pag gusto mong malaman talaga ng mas conservative, 'di ba? Kasi ang current ratio parang hindi siya konserbatibong computation kasi we cannot able to say that all current assets are assets that can be immediately converted into cash. Kasi pwedeng maisama dyan yung inventory na matagal na pala nandun doon sa warehouse, hindi pa naibebenta. Kaya malaki lang pala yung current ratio natin kasi marami tayong inventory. Okay? Pero kung gusto mo talaga in a conservative manner, maganda yung quick ratio kasi yung numerator natin are based on assets, based on current assets that are easily converted into cash. Okay? Okay po ba? Okay. Questions related to this? No, importante ito kasi ito madalas ito sa board exam. At alam nyo ba, sa board exam, anong nangyayari? Hindi ganito sila magpa-compute. Bibigyan kayo ng ratio, ng quick ratio, bibigyan kayo ng current ratio, okay, at then bibigyan kayo ng total layab, pero ipapahanap ilan ang value ng inventory. Lalaruin kayo sa math. Okay? Kaya memoryahin nyo, no? Paglaruan nyo yung formula. Okay? Gagawa kayo ng maliit na algebra dito, no? Okay? Kasi, minsan, sasabihin, provided si 1.97, provided si 1.51, provided si 620, yung ipapahanap si 289. Itong 289 ang hahanapin. Merong ganon, no? Magagaling talaga yung gumagawa ng exam. Pinaglalaruan kayo. Yung sasabihin nyo, minamaligno na kami. Okay? The purpose of that is to check talaga if you can able to remember, okay, the computation of current ratio and the quick ratio and what its composition. Naintindihan na po ba tayo sa current ratio and quick ratio? Ha? Guys? 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 Okay. Okay, for that, yun lang muna tayo. Huwag muna natin ubusin lahat ng ratio. Baka kayo sumabog. Ha? Maybe tonight I'll be posting a summary of ratios that you need to memorize. Okay? I will be posting it in the Google Classroom, and then every ratio, it has its significant information, its purpose, so that you can understand naman bakit ganito. Okay? You don't need to memorize all, but you need to familiarize all so that you can able to understand and answer later on the examinations that we will have in the future. Tanong, di ba nyo ba itatanong kung isasama ko to sa prelims? Isasama ko na po ito siya sa prelims, ha? Yung mga ratio. Kaya nga ayoko munang ubusin lahat kasi baka maubos lahat ng ratios, o di mabaliw na kayo sa kame-memorize. Okay lang po ba yon? Ha? Guys? Okay. If you don't have any examples, nagbigay na nga ako ng example, di ba? Magbibigay, magbibigay lang ako ng activity, and then yung activity na yon, yun yung gagawin nating discussion next meeting. Okay? Okay. If you don't have any questions, may tanong po ba tayo? May tanong pa po ba? May tanong pa po ba? And yung quiz natin mamaya, okay? After I attended the mass, no? Kasi may misa ngayon dito sa amin. Okay, I will be encoding the quiz. More or less, sana maka-type ako ng 40 items to 50 on the long quiz, no? Yung maka-perfect, okay, exempted. Okay? Sige, ha? Okay na po ba? Okay na po ba tayo, guys? Okay? If wala nang tanong, okay, thank you.